Hello, I'm Dr. Priscilla. I'm a native English speaker and I know a lot about the United States. The reason I know a lot about the United States is because I live in the United States. So, in this lesson, I want to share with you 10 things that might be beneficial to you if you're planning to visit the United States. The United States is complete with rules and regulations. As a citizen of the United States, I find some of the rules and some of the regulations confusing, but I am an individual that does abide by the laws and the rules. If you are visiting or if you plan to visit the United States and you want to remain out of trouble, here are 10 things I believe you will benefit by knowing. Number 1, never leave a child in a parked car unattended. You will be fined and you can be sent to jail for child neglect. The child can be removed from your possession because you have neglected the child and in some form of a situation or manner, it is perceived that the child is in danger. So that's child endangerment. Never leave a child unattended in a parked car. Number two is equally important. This involves school buses. If you are approaching a school bus in transit, if you are behind the bus and the bus has extended its stop arm, you must stop. You must not move. You must not pass the bus when the bus has stopped with the arm extended. If you are approaching the bus, which means you are in front of the bus, you cannot pass the bus. You must stop. You must remain stopped until the arm has been withdrawn and the bus is in movement. Here again, you are considered endangering the child or the children when you're moving your vehicle on the highway. Those are the two most important rules for me. Now let's look at rule number 3. Rule number 3 is turning right on a red light. If the light is red and there isn't traffic coming straight across, turning in front of you, it is perfectly fine for you to turn right on red. There are a few exceptions. If there is a sign that says no right turn, usually you will see an X on the cross bar in the traffic signal, so you cannot turn right on red. If there is no designated spots that says you cannot turn right on red, feel free to turn right on red. However, as a visitor to the United States, I would suggest and strongly recommend that you never turn right on red until you have been in the United States and understand the rules of the road. Rule number 4, jaywalking. Jaywalking is walking in the street in undesignated areas. If you are downtown, for example, or if you are in a busy section of the city, there are usually crosswalks. These are crosswalks that are designated for you to be in when crossing the street. If you need to cross the street, wait for the light to turn green in the opposite direction of which you're going. Typically, there will be a signal light that will say walk. If it says stop, please do not start to walk at this point because the traffic will begin to move very quickly and you don't want to put yourself in danger of being hit, even though you may have the right of way as a pedestrian. Make sure that you are walking within the guidelines of the crosswalk. Police officers are stationed in various places in an attempt to curtail people getting hit by oncoming traffic. So if you're walking in between cars, even if you are in a hurry and you can do it safely, you can be issued a traffic ticket that you will have to pay. You will be inconvenienced, but alive, and you will have to appear in court, pay the fine for walking in an area that is not designated. So please be sure to walk in the designated areas. Number 5, tipping. Americans love to eat out, and Americans love to eat at restaurants. The employees at many restaurants are not paid the minimum wages. Their wages are coming from the tips that you provide for the service that they provide to you. If you are given excellent service, the expectation is that you will give a certain percentage of that amount. Now, it depends upon the season, Christmas, other holidays, how much you might give over and above what is typically expected. So you can check online. Google would be a good place to check because those tip amounts will change. The tip amount especially is different if you're at the airport. You might give the person who's handling your bag a tip. It would be different from what you would give someone in a restaurant. If you are at a fast food restaurant where you drive up to the window, or if you walk into the restaurant, such as a McDonald's, Burger King, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Chick-fil-A, generally you will not offer a tip. If you're not sure what to pay as a tip, check Google and they will tell you. Additionally, if you are going to receive a receipt for a sit-down restaurant meal, the suggested tip amount is usually on that bill. You can pay that bill with a credit card or you can pay that bill with cash. If you are paying with a credit card, you can also include your tip on the credit card. Another rule that I want you to be aware of is the rule of stopping at a four-way stop. There is not a traffic signal, but it's more of a courtesy. It's a four-way stop. One car is on your right, the next car is on that person's right, the next person's right, and then the next person's right. Then it becomes a question as to who is on whose right and who arrived first. I'm going to suggest that you err on the side of caution. If you're not sure who arrived at a traffic light first or at a traffic stop first, consider stopping and letting everyone else go. When it is your turn, proceed with caution. In that way, you will avoid any inconvenience by being involved in a traffic accident. If you are ever stopped by a police officer, make sure that you are calm and remain quiet until the police officer speaks to you. Once the police officer approaches your window, it is perfectly fine to ask, "Is everything all right?" Then the police officer will tell you, in most instances, the reason why you were pulled over. It is not necessary for you to do anything but Keep your hands on the steering wheel so that the police officer can see what you're doing, and do nothing until you're asked to do so. Most likely, the officer will ask you for your driver's license, your identification card, which is your registration card. I typically keep mine in my glove compartment. When the police officer asks you for your driver's license, let the police officer know that your driver's license is in your purse, in your back pocket. Let the officer know where you're reaching before you start to get the item that is requested. If your registration card is in your glove compartment, let the police officer know that you are reaching into the glove compartment to retrieve the registration. The police officer will take your registration card and your driver's license, perhaps, and walk back to his vehicle. And once he returns, he will give those back to you. Typically, a police officer might pull you over because you have a tail light that is burnt out, or you may have a flat tire that you didn't know that you had a flat tire, or there may have been some suspicion about the way that you were driving. Were you intoxicated? Were you weaving in traffic? Or were you speeding? Whatever the case is, let the police officer tell you why he stopped you, and then answer his questions in as polite a manner as possible. If you're not sure what the police officer is asking you, be sure to try to let that officer know that your first language is not English and you're trying to accommodate his requests. Shopping has its rules as well. This is related to taxes. Almost anything that you purchase in the United States, wherever you purchase that item, you are expected to pay taxes. You will pay taxes on clothing, you will pay taxes on food, you will pay taxes on gasoline, you will pay taxes on candy. Anything imaginable comes with additional tax. Those taxes will vary from state to state. There again, you can check or consult Google to determine how much the taxes will be in the particular state in which you will be visiting. Rule number 9. Rule number 9 is related to those individuals who are under the age of 18. There are strict limitations as to what you can and cannot do if you are underage. Underage drinking is one of those. There is a serious penalty for you and your guardian, the person who watches over you, if you are drinking under the age of 18. It is prohibited for you to drink in a club. It is prohibited for you to be even in a club without an adult with you. And even then, there are stipulations as to what type of club you can attend. You cannot have any unopened alcoholic beverages in the car in which you are driving if you are under the age of 18. Even if you are over 18, no one is allowed to have an unopened alcoholic beverage in a vehicle that is not parked. If the vehicle is parked, it's okay. But if that vehicle is in motion, it is illegal to have alcoholic beverages open in a moving vehicle. Keep in mind that if you are interested in knowing more about that rule, that law, you can find information on Google as well. The United States is a big area. It is huge. There are so many places that you can actually get lost in a short period of time. And it doesn't mean that because someone lives in the United States that they know exactly the place that you're looking for. Many of the streets have the same name. Even in a different state, you will see a duplication of a name. So it is very important that you keep in this century your cell phone with you. Let someone know where you are going, your time of expected arrival, so that if something should happen, there may be an easier way to find where you are. Make sure that you have the address of where you're leaving from and where you're going close by in the event that your battery on your phone should die. Without this information, it may take some time for people to locate the place that you're trying to get to, or locate the place that you're trying to return to. In many instances, people are here to help you in the United States, but as in any country, including your own, there may be instances where people just do not understand what your desires are, and they may be a little hesitant to offer you assistance. So please be aware that it's important for you to be aware of your surroundings, keep your identification on you, and on a separate piece of paper, write down the place that you're going or the place that you need to return to. So there you have it. If you can manage those 10 rules and regulations, you will do fine. Let me know what you think of this video when we're in class. Again, I'm Dr. Priscilla. Thanks so much for listening to the 10 rules, tips, and suggestions in this video. Bye for now.